Hello, I'm Georgia Ingrey and today I will be presenting my journey of my Professional Design Studio 3 module. As part of the brief, our task was to produce our own concept building on previous interests and working methods. As a starting point, I reflected back on past projects to identify key elements and interests of my works. From this, I found that my key interests were impacts of COVID-19, mental health, nature, senses and sustainability. From identifying these interests, I decided to create 3 moodboards to convey each theme that would potentially carry through into this module. One theme identified was sustainability, where reclaimed fabrics, natural materials and the use of plastics in my work could be used with the effects of plastic pollution and textile waste. A sensory board has been identified exploring how my works may help other people through textures and aromatherapy. Creating a sensory experience was identified by sensory toys and how a sensory aspect of my work can help relieve stress and anxieties, as well as being inclusive to people who may be visually impaired. I soon realised that I needed to refine my concept as I was trying to include too many ideas into my creative outcomes. Over the past 2 years, I noticed a severe change in my own mental health and well-being, and I came to the conclusion that I wanted to base this work on creating works that is not only comforting for me to view, but also to create. After reflecting back on all of the self-help and self-care techniques that I have tried throughout lockdown, I found that having access to a garden or local green spaces was the most beneficial for me to relieve stress and anxiety. This has formed my concept of exploring the benefits of nature through the use of various textile techniques, creating a sensory experience. With the recognition that I wanted my works to be therapeutic for me to research and create, I found that it was important for me to gain inspiration from visiting galleries such as the Wellcome Collection. The Garden Forest multi-sensory installation by Crystal Labar has been largely influential for my creative works through its uses of senses and nature-based concepts through the study of forest bathing. This study has proven that the multisensory experience of being immersed in nature calms the stress response of the nervous system. The installation includes photographs of ancient forests complemented by sounds and scent of petrichor that evokes the smell of the forest floor after it has rained. With the influence from Crystal Labar, I decided to further explore the benefits of nature to gain a greater insight into the healing properties of nature. I have since discovered the biophilia hypothesis that was popularised by Edward Wilson, who proposes that humans have innate biological tendency to seek connection with nature and living organisms. An extension of biophilia is biophilic design, which allows people to gain benefits of nature through encouraging designers to use natural systems and processes in the design of the built environment. I have since explored interior designer Oliver Heath and textile designer Alice Burnhope, who have adopted biophilic design principles in their work, designing for the well-being of people and the planet. Both designers have adopted the use of direct and indirect nature, which I have explored throughout my works, enhancing the idea that the arts can also drive engagement with nature. Whilst I'm not suggesting that nature solves all mental challenges, I would like to encourage people to consider connecting with nature for its restorative properties. Seeking connection with nature can be considered to be even more important today, with a decade of change with increased mental health in just 2 years. The government have also since recognised the benefits of nature by highlighting that the UK's woodlands have been since seen to boost mental health and is estimated to save £185 million in treatment costs annually. From this, I have realised that my work may not only help myself but others as well. The project has required careful and considered planning, therefore I have created a timeline which has been used in conjunction with the given design craft timetable in order to manage my time efficiently throughout the project. Whilst falling ill had affected this, I was still able to refer back to my timeline for guidance. I was able to set out and plan for the weeks ahead, allowing me to work to a set time whilst reflecting on changes throughout my journey. With an interest in embracing imperfections, I have tried to capture the organic qualities of nature through exploring the beauty of imperfection, adopting the spirit of wabi-sabi. I have gathered primary imagery exploring this, capturing colours, shapes and textures of the natural world to inform elements of my creative outcomes. I have tried to adopt the spirit of wabi-sabi throughout my creative outcomes, exploring techniques of weaving, punch needle and knitting. I have explored a range of techniques throughout this module to investigate how techniques can be combined to obtain texture, informing my final prototype that engages the audience with their senses. With the understanding that the benefits of nature come from the multi-sensory experience of being immersed in nature, I was inspired by Pallavi Padukone with her use of aromatherapy to connect the audience with nature. I have also explored using therapeutic scents such as lavender. However, I came to the conclusion that using scent from cress, moss and petrichor would be more successful at representing my experiences in nature. Whilst it is suggested that moss shouldn't be taken from the natural environment, it is authorised to within your own garden or where it is deemed hazardous. Whilst I had explored a range of techniques, I had a change of direction within my sampling after viewing tufting works at the Tate Britain. Fascinated by the texture, I began to research rug tufting, in which I uncovered the works of fibre artist Trish Anderson. I was drawn to the unruly quality of a selection of her works, and I began reflecting on how I could explore this technique further with my links to nature and the ideas of wabi-sabi. Rug making has become a key interest in mine, which I have continued to develop to inform my prototype. I have explored carving techniques to enhance texture, negative space to explore the concept of walking from grass to concrete, and organic shapes. I soon came to realise that although an organic effect can be created through applying different pressures to the tufting gun, I would need to purchase a different tufting gun to enable me to create longer loops and strands of yarn to create an unruly finish. With this realisation, I decided to explore the combination of latch hook, punch needle and hand tufting techniques in order to obtain texture within my works through various pile heights. I felt this was important to enhance a sense of touch for audience engagement, as well as highlighting that there are many textures found in nature. I was inspired by Andy Goldsworthy to explore photographing my work outside. Whilst my samples are not created outside like Goldsworthy, I felt this was important to explore in case of the event of restrictions to outside events only. I feel that this further enhances the natural qualities of my work, and I can further use these to support my portfolio on my website when applying for work experience and job opportunities in the future. With wanting to create a multi-sensory experience, I recognised that I had only explored the use of sight, smell and touch. Therefore, I began to record sounds that I had experienced in nature and wanted to try and physically input this into my samples rather than just using a speaker. Whilst this is still an option for the final exhibition, I have since experimented with natural objects such as leaves, sticks, stones and shells that I've sewn into calico and placed under rugs. I soon realised that natural objects break down, creating softer sounds over time. However, over the Christmas period, I realised that walking through wrapping paper simulated a similar sound to walking in leaves. Therefore, I experimented with gift wrap that was accumulated over Christmas and found that the sound from aluminium gift bags would last throughout the exhibition period as it doesn't break down. After reflecting back on samples of my work, I refined my prototype design by exploring how my prototype could appear in a gallery setting. I have explored having the rugs displayed separately on the wall or the floor. However, as the findings of my research suggest that the benefits of nature comes from being immersive in nature, I felt that having the rugs installed on both the floor and the wall would best simulate the idea of being immersed. Whilst laying the rugs on the floor is simple and easy to implement in the gallery setting of the exhibition, hanging the rugs on the wall may be more challenging. Therefore, I decided to test out how the rugs can be hung, and I found that securing metal rings in combination with Velcro works well to fully secure the rugs on the wall. I decided to create further samples in relation to my designs, which enabled me to form my final prototype pieces. The prototype presented shows the development from skills learned throughout Semester A of the Professional Design Studio 3 module. The prototype displays a mock-up of a multi-sensory installation. For me, this prototype emulates a sense of calmness and relaxation through allowing the audience to engage with their senses of sight, smell, sound and touch. Visual aesthetics have been considered with a refined colour palette whilst uncovering the beauty of imperfections. Stimulation through touch has been enhanced through varying pile heights, simulated various textures found in nature. The use of direct nature has been incorporated to connect the audience through the sense of smell using moss. Petrichor fragrance oil has also been used to enhance this. And lastly, aluminium foil bags and wrapping paper accumulated over the Christmas period have been sewn in between the rug itself and the rug backing to simulate the sound of walking in leaves. I have used Photoshop to visualise scale of my installation idea developing from my prototype. Although I feel that a large-scale piece would create a sense of immersion, I now have a greater understanding of how time-consuming my techniques are. Therefore, scale will be an ongoing investigation during Semester B. However, I have already begun to display some ideas and design solutions by exploring the use of fewer or smaller rugs. Whilst this project stems from my own experiences with mental health and the benefits of nature, through the research conducted, I am now aware that my design concepts may not only help myself but others as well. With the aim of being able to create a positive impact on others, I consider the stakeholder to be crisis cafes, which are often charity-based organisations that offer support overnight to those who are suffering with mental health challenges. However, with consideration into job prospects, I would like to gain industry experience before gaining a teaching qualification. Therefore, I believe that this body of work will enable me to create a professional portfolio to present and propose ideas to brands such as Selfridges, who have also had a long history of working with charities. Therefore, I would like to bring these two stakeholders together to support people's wellness through creating therapeutic textile art. This module has benefited me as a creative, giving me the independence to design and create a body of work that can help me gain future employment. From this body of work, I am aware that there may be a slight change of direction in Semester B. Throughout Semester B, the seasons will change, therefore I am open to the idea of further exploring colours and seasons within my work. Thank you for listening.